Good afternoon. It's good afternoon here. The nights are drawing out, aren't they? And it's really lovely to be able to have that extra time in the day. My name's Penny. I live in the southeast of England with my husband Pete, who occasionally does a little bit on here, sharing his stories and reminiscing. And Mum, I don't live with Mum. No, I live with my husband Pete and 4 chickens. Let's get that out of the way. They're all right. They're good. Mum does a little bit for my viewers that are with me each week. You know, she started when she was a little girl and has told us her memories. She was born in 1926, so she soon will be 96. But this week she's up to 1958, and she wrote a diary in 1958. So we skimmed through January to see the little bits that might be of interest. She enjoyed going through it. And then I've got a little film. Now it's been blowy, chilly, misty, rainy. We've had all of that in the last week, but just one morning actually, on the way home, the mist came in. But one morning, there was no wind, it was warmer, and I got out. And so it's just a little film. You've seen it before, but every day's different, isn't it? So there's a little film at the end. So what am I going to start with this week? Well, I've got a big hamper. I think I've alluded to the hamper. And I just put my hand in and got something out today. And what I got out was a souvenir book. Here it is. A souvenir book. My Fair Lady at the Theatre Royal, Drury Lane in London. Oh, there's some favourite stories in here. Favourite stories from these 3. Stanley Holloway, Robert Coote and Moss Hart. I hope this story won't be repeated in London. A New York couple was sent 2 tickets anonymously for the show. Blessing their unknown benefactor, they put on their finery and headed for the theatre. When they got home many hours later, they discovered that the sender of the tickets had given himself an evening's enjoyment too. Their house had been burgled completely. What a thing to put in the back of a souvenir book. It was first performed on the 30th of April 1958. And the story behind me going to see it, Stanley Holloway, I mean, he was so well known, wasn't he? Julie Andrews and Rex Harrison. That's who I saw. Rex Harrison, Stanley Holloway and Julie Andrews. Is Rex Harrison there? He's the first one. So my mum had made me a dress and it was blue, I remember it, and it had the picture of Eliza in her finery, and underneath had the writing, My Fair Lady, and it was all over. It was really pretty, and she made me this lovely dress. I was 10, coming up 11, and so they said, oh, we're going out. Well, put your dress on, love. I said, I don't want to wear that dress. I mean, oh, put that dress on, Mum said. That would be lovely. Oh, I said, I don't want to wear it. Do I have to? Well, she said, we'd like you to. So in the end, I did. And of course, unbeknown to me, we landed up at the theatre to watch My Fair Lady. And there I was in my Fair Lady dress. So I was glad that I'd said yes in the end. But I remember really being quite indignant as to why I had to wear this dress when we were going out. I didn't know where. So that's a memory I've got from, 10 years old. And when I was delving down into the chest, I found my school reports. And this little one, April 1956. So I was 7. Well, report for winter term. Yeah. So my brother had been born. Do you remember? Yeah, he was born in 1956. And he was born January the 9th. And here we are the April term. And don't forget, I shared a bedroom with my brother. And arithmetic's fairly good, spelling's very good, English good, reading very good, writing good. Penelope has not made such good progress this term. She's too hesitant, although she's very willing, but has seemed a little weary. So here I am, April 56, 49, 50. I was 6.5, and my brother had been born, and I lived in a small flat with him, and I seemed a little weary. Yeah, there it is. That was a little school I went to. Then I've got my other reports from my school. Pene's work is good on the whole, but she's inclined to be talkative in class. So, nothing's changed really, has it? Yeah. A splendid effort this term in chemistry. Must have been something that I was interested in. This is my last school report. I was 14 and 11 months. So I was 15 in the August, but I left in the July. And do you remember me telling you, right when I started doing Chinwag, I said that we had to make a dress. And I just didn't want to make this dress. Anyway, the day before it had to be handed in, I said to my mum, "Oh, could you just run this up for me, Mum? It's got to be in tomorrow." So poor Mum, she had to run up this dress, which she did. That's the term, run up. And so I got my report, handicrafts, poor, work lacks finish. Well, I think you'd say about the work that I've shown you that it does show very good finish. But that's if you're interested in something. If you're not interested in something, it does lack finish. In fact, you put it away as a whip because you can't get on with it. So Mum had to do that. Penelope's worked very hard this term and improved and has succeeded in raising the standard of her work. She's a pleasant, helpful girl. Well, that's nice, isn't it? A disappointing result for my history exam. Classwork's good. You see, I could not do exams. I could not revise, and then remember it. I mean, I can remember sitting there, reading. I couldn't retain it. It would be different now if you could watch television programs or, we could learn in such a visual way, but then it was dates, kings' names, all of that. Yeah, not very good. However, elocution, first class acting ability. So I was pleased with that. I was more pleased with that than anything about history. I didn't need to know about history. This is a nice one. I was 11 years old, but again, it was 1 month off because I was an August baby. So good on the whole. I've made satisfactory progress, but I don't do herself justice in the examinations. I know, I could tell them that. I was scared of exams. I couldn't do them. Probably still couldn't. Yeah. Writing, a very pleasing style. Nature study. We had nature study as a lesson. I remember doing leaves and learning all about flowers and plants. Work shows definite improvement. Here again, arithmetic, very disappointing result in the exam, but terms work of a high standard. Interesting, isn't it? Elocution, good oral expression. English literature, yeah, not too bad. Here we go. Religious knowledge, vague answers. I think that's called waffle. I'm quite good at waffle. Oh dear. Maths, careless arithmetic spoils good intelligent work. No, I was winging it. I can't do arithmetic. Elocution, expressive and sincere. That's what I was interested in. Elocution. Work is always lively and interesting. English literature works with interest. History. Work lacks detailed learning. No, the learning was there. It was remembering it. French. Penelope does her best. Oh, that's a nice thing to say, isn't it? And so it goes on. And so it goes on. More attention must be given and thorough learning of facts in geography and science. Can't be done. Just can't be done. So I thought I'd share that with you. Oh, I know what I've got. Hold on, I'll just be back. I'm back. I'm knitting a present for someone. Well, you might as well know it's my aunt, Anne, in Ireland. I think, I have spoken about her and her book. And I said I'd knit her the Silver River Shawl by Helen Stewart. And I sent off for the wool. It has surprised me. It's come back. But things on the internet do look different, don't they? It's Irish artisan yarn. And it's 70% baby alpaca, which means it's that first ever shearing. Second year, it won't be baby. This is the first shearing from the alpaca, 70% and 30% silk. It's luxury, it really is. Look at the colours. I thought, looking on the internet, it was going to be more of that colour, but it is lovely. It is lovely. It's going to be interesting. The shade is called Port New, Irish artisan yarn, Port New, divine, and it's two colours, and I bought this one to go with. My aunt suggested one which was quite white and had a lot of speckling in it, and I didn't fancy the speckling. I thought with that being intertwined, the speckling would detract from this. So I chose this one, but I did think again this was going to be more green, but it's going to be, well, it's beautiful. And so this again is baby alpaca and 30% silk, and this is called Wicklow. So this is the two together, and I think that it will look really lovely. Yeah, so interesting to see how that knits up. So I'm going to start that as soon as I have wound it into a ball. Yeah. I've made this for Tommy this week. It's the same as last week's with the little, round neck, because the sleeve goes right on up. And at the back you can see it goes right across, which is lovely. But it's got a V-neck. So it's this little cricketing jumper. Yeah. I think he's going to like that, or his mummy is. I don't suppose he really notices what he's got on, but I was pleased with it. And that's the Women's Institute wool, and I can really say, I don't know if you can see, but the stitches, they're lovely and even. It knits up very well, and I've washed this. It's just dry actually, and it's washed up beautifully, you can see. So I'm very pleased with that. Got that in Hobbycraft, yeah. 3 balls for the price of 2. Women's Institute. This is white because she wanted a little cricket jumper. Now it's a fascinating fact, and I hadn't heard of this fruit. But when I looked it up, you can buy it at Tesco, you can buy it at Waitrose. It's readily available. And it's quite an interesting fact about it. So I hope you enjoy that. It's rather like a grapefruit, they say. When you look at Waitrose and see what they, suggest it's like. It's rather like a grapefruit. Yeah, so enjoy the fascinating fact. The pomelo is a large, sweet citrus fruit that grows on a tree. Although the fruit may fall more than 10 metres or 30 feet, it survives undamaged. What makes this fruit so shock absorbent? Researchers have found that the white inner layer of the pomelo's skin forms a sponge-like network of cells and space. The space between the cells increases as it gets deeper in the fruit and is filled with air or liquid. When the fruit falls and hits the ground, the liquid acts like a cushion. The pomelo's skin compresses and stiffens, absorbing the energy instead of breaking. Scientists are testing a shock-resistant metal foam that they designed based on the structure of the pomelo's skin. They believe that similar structures could be used in designing helmets for motorcyclists, impact protection for vehicles, and protection against meteoroid impact on a space station. It's interesting, isn't it, how a fruit can, possibly make better cars or cars safer, and helmets for the, bikers. Yeah. So now it's Mum's turn, and we're going to go to 1958 and have a little chat with her. I'll see you after that.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Lovely to be back again.
Yes.
And now we're going to have a nice chat about, what year is it?
1958.
Oh.
So here you are, 32, with a 9-year-old and
Yeah.
a 2-year-old.
Yes.
Okie doke then. Now your first entry is actually in the December of 1957, and you say Ron worked in the morning, and that's a Sunday.
Yeah.
So Dad used to go to work on a Sunday.
Yes. And also then he was thinking of doing things for himself as well as working, because Sunday would have been overtime, but also he would have then been looking around, because he decided then to start his own little, now that we'd got 2 children and we needed more cash.
Yeah.
That he'd start his own little business.
Yeah.
I
think that's what he's doing, Mum.
Yes.
And
yes.
in the afternoon, you watched the film on television while Ron slept. So he was obviously tired, working all week, and then working Sunday morning, and then he had his sleep in the afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah. So you watched the film on telly. So that's quite new for you, really, having this telly and watching it, isn't it?
And when you think of the size of television, but it was such a new, it was so lovely to have a television that you could watch.
And you say Chris was rather cross in the evening. He had a nasty cough. Rose came today. That's your friend Rose that you grew up with David. He was 12 days old. Beautiful boy, just like Peter.
Yes.
She looked very well considering the rough time she had.
Yes.
So it was obviously not a good birth, Mum.
No.
Baby rather cross in the afternoon. These children are rather cross, Mum.
Yes.
Probably we have grizzly, eh?
Yes.
Grizzly.
That's a good word.
Yeah, grizzly. And then Ron said he complained of water coming in his office roof, and he's having a new one fitted. So he was obviously in a rather leaky place where he's trying to start this new business. Thursday, washing in the morning, also shopping. And you bought the slippers in a sale, because we used to have January sales then, didn't we? Always January sales. Yes. And you bought the slippers for 6 shillings. 30p now. 30p.
But then our wages then were in pound notes, a few pound notes each week.
So 6 shillings was quite a good amount. You went to Peg's in the afternoon. She was a friend, wasn't she?
Yes.
And Len was a friend of Dad's. You were all friends.
Yes.
Len in bed with chest cold, so obviously a lot of colds going about. Yes. But thinks he'll be well enough to go to football.
Oh, well, Spurs, they were great Spurs.
Yeah.
Tottenham Hotspur supporters.
So he'll probably spread it all round. That means we'll all get it. And thanks very much, Len.
Yes.
Ted, who's our neighbour, he's also in bed with bronchitis. And Ron spent the evening visiting the invalids and discussing holiday.
Yes, spent visiting the invalids and picking up all the germs.
Exactly, bringing them back. No wonder Chrissy was a bit a bit cross.
Yes.
Yeah. Now they're discussing this holiday, and I think they did go on the holiday.
Yes, they
Norfolk
did.
Broads.
That's right.
On the Saturday, you spent the morning at Wood Green. That was a bus ride away, wasn't it?
Yes, that was a bus ride away, but
Yeah.
Wood Green was lovely shops. And
Right, yeah.
Yes, it was a very good shopping centre.
Yeah, I got my wedding dress
Yes.
there. Trying to get Penny a doll in the sales, and you got one for 10 and 6.
Oh.
Well, that was quite pricey, really, Mum.
That was £half note.
Yeah,
yes.
but not dressed. Ron and Len went to see Leicester play, and with Spurs.
Yes.
Yeah. Len's still queer, but made the effort. Pouring with rain. Now, when we say Len's still queer, what did that mean, Mum?
Well, because he got over the worst of his cold and his bit of bronchitis or whatever he had.
Okay.
He decided, yes, I'm well enough to go to football.
Oh, so if you were queer then, it just meant you weren't ill, but you weren't well.
No,
you were just,
right.
Had a bit of a cold.
Yes, you weren't feeling it
They
yourself.
use the word differently now, Mum.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Now, there must have been a cat in those flats there where we lived.
Yes.
Called Mickey. It wasn't our cat. And anyway, Mickey, on this Sunday, he caught a bird. But Dad rescued it, and it turned out to be a blue-grey budgie.
Oh.
And we put it in a cardboard box, but it kept getting out, you say. But it's quite friendly. I don't know if you remember that, Mum. And Chrissy then on the 9th, Mum, he was two, and he was much excited. He opened all his cards himself, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. And in the afternoon, Mum came and brought him a pull-along lamb. Well, that's what you bought kids then, little pull-along toys.
Yes.
And Peg came with a pair of trousers and a flute.
Oh,
I bet that got on your nerves. A flute. And then Mrs. Reed, I remember Mrs. Reed, she was my dance teacher. She brought Penny's ballet dress round, and Penny was thrilled, as this was a real frou-frou, because my ballet and sticky out and all of that. Yes. How wonderful.
Yes.
The next day it was pouring with rain. Peg just ran and said she was going to chance it. Of course she would. She came round for lunch and she stayed till 3 o'clock. And you have a lot of visitors, Mum, all the time. On the Saturday, Anne came to dinner and stayed for the weekend. And then it says Len and Peg came round for the evening, and you obviously fed them. And you were giving the bird, they were giving the bird whiskey and coffee to sober him up. I think Anne enjoyed it. This bird is obviously a little bit of fun on a dreary January month.
Yes.
Giving him whiskey, Mum, and then coffee to sober him up. Mrs. Moss called after dinner and told me of the sale at Foyles. Remember Foyles?
Yes, it was a bookshop, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yes, a big bookshop. Yes.
So what did you do? You went across to look in Foyles' window and noted down some things you'd like. Shall be there first thing tomorrow. Yeah. Saturday, Ron went to football in the afternoon. Len and Ped came down in the evening. And John and Evelyn came. So all your friends are always at your place.
Yes.
Why were they always at your place?
Well, because we were always getting food. We always fed them. There was always something.
Yeah, you're very hospitable, weren't you? Very homely, very hospitable. Yes. Tuesday, the 21st of Jan, had a heavy fall of snow in the morning and very cold.
Yes.
And we've lost our cat Sooty. You're wondering where he is.
Oh.
Yes. And Chrissy was still rather poorly. The next day, more snow in the morning, still very cold. And I think you had trouble getting coal, Mum, didn't you?
Yes. Coal was,
Yeah.
And when the weather was bad, everybody just waited and waited for the coalmen to come to fill up their bunkers.
Yeah.
Because that was our only heating then.
Yeah. And it was trouble getting coal,
Yes.
I know that.
Yes.
Oh, now look, Ron went to help Pat move in the evening and brought home a cage with him. At 12:45, he'd been having a quiet drink with Len and Peg. So he came home at 12:45, but he came home with a bird cage. So this bird was obviously going to be,
Yes.
well, we must have kept it. And now Mrs. Dennis started paying for a chicken for Easter.
Yes, people saved up then for chickens were very expensive, and you only had roast chicken for either Christmas or Easter or a special occasion.
Right.
It wasn't just a normal Sunday lunch or whatever.
So here you are in January. Mrs. Dennis
Yes.
is starting to save up for the chicken
Yes.
for Easter.
Yes.
Well, I never.
And the other bit there, dear,
Yeah.
talking about Dad having a late drink and getting home at that time in the
Yeah.
morning, there was no
No.
drink driving then.
No, you could have a drink and you could drive,
Yes,
couldn't you?
although it wasn't very far, but he still had to drive
Yes.
home.
Yes.
Yes, my goodness, how things have changed.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing is
Yeah.
that Dad he'd started his own business, and I was very busy in the house.
Yes.
And I was also helping him to do his books, if you call them books, but
Yeah.
you know, that sort of thing, to start him off
Yeah.
so that we could see exactly where we were going.
Yeah. Yeah. All right then, we'll say cheerio.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was lovely, wasn't it? I hope you enjoyed it, reminiscing about 1958 and how Mum must have produced all that food for everybody. And I think they just loved doing it. They've always been, Mum and Dad were always very hospitable. Yeah, but we had a tiny little front room, and how everybody squashed in there and stayed the weekend. I just don't know where. We had 2 small bedrooms, but we just got on with it and we just enjoyed it. So now it's TA. I'm doing a little bit of TA this week, and it's about the OK Corral. I'll explain more about it in the part. So I'll see you after that. I haven't done any for a few weeks. I think the reason is because the next part to teach you is about life scripts, and you find out what your life script is and then how to change it, because all the time we act in accord with our life script, it stops us being autonomous in the here and now. Remember, adult is the here and now. Child is in the past. Controlling parent is in the past. We rubber band back to the past. Do you remember the rubber band? It's almost like, it's almost like we go back there. We hear things that our parents or our adult figures around us have said. A classic one this week was a friend said to me, somebody owed her some money, and I said, I hope you've asked him for the money back that he owes you, because I knew he wasn't going to pay her. She said, I'm not going to give him the satisfaction. That doesn't make sense. What satisfaction would he get in not paying her the money back? She's heard this in her childhood. Oh, I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. There is no satisfaction. That's not adult. When I pointed it out to her, she realised that, and she asked him for the money. He still diddle-daddled about giving it to her, but she finally got it, and the satisfaction was hers in the money that she was owed, getting that money back. But you see, she'd rubber-banded back to childhood, probably hearing her mum or other figures saying, oh, I won't give them the satisfaction. Doesn't make sense. Not in the adult here and now. Can you see that? Well, learning about your life script will teach you what kind of script, what kind of story you've made up for yourself. And then we start to point those, oh, I think that you might be in script there. Yes, that doesn't make sense. And that was obviously part of my friend's script. So to say it, and it's an unconscious life plan made in childhood, reinforced by the parents, justified by subsequent events, and culminating in a chosen alternative. Yeah. So we say we're in script when we act from things in the past I can't work out your script with you, not on a one-to-one, obviously. So I got a little bit stuck. How could I carry on? But I've decided to carry on and teach you some more and see how it goes. Now, in TA, we say, I'm okay. I'm okay. As a human being, I'm okay. And you're okay. I'm okay. You're okay. That means I view you all as being human and being okay. I might not like some things you do. I might not actually like you very much. But in human terms, I think you're okay. I'm okay, you're okay. It's how we view things. Now, if we are in that situation on the OK Corral, which I'm going to, there's 4 parts to the OK Corral, and I'm going to teach you that part. I'm okay, you're okay. Now, imagine that. We're all here together. We all have that view. We're okay, you're okay. Well, we get on with then, don't we? We might have different values, we might have different viewpoints, but if I view you as okay, I can accept those. So imagine this. I've just arrived at my workplace. In comes the boss with a stack of papers. Here's the report we've been waiting for, she says. I've marked the points for you, for your action. Will you see to these and report back, please? Right, I say, I'll do that. Yeah, she's okay. I'm okay. In agreeing to the boss's request, I've checked with myself that I'm competent to do what she asks and feel good about doing it. I see her as being fair and reasonable in asking me to do this. Thus, I'm in the position of, I'm okay, you're okay. In our social interaction, the boss and I are getting on with what we're both there to do. Each time I have an interaction from this position, I reinforce my belief that I and others in the world are okay. So next week, I'm going to take you through the next part of the OK Corral, which is I'm not okay, you're okay. Now imagine if I felt like that. I'm not okay, you're okay. I'd want to get away from you because I don't feel okay and I feel you are okay. So we'll talk about that next week. So just to tell you a little bit about the life script. The life script means that we act now, bringing that past back. Whereas what we want to be able to do is act in the here and now. We want to evaluate things as to what's going on now and act in adult and not bring the past with us. So thank you for joining this week. I hope you've enjoyed all the little different parts of Penelope's Chinwag. So I'll say cheerio for now. There's a little bit coming up, as I said, about the film, and there might be, if all goes well, a little bit of Tommy. I have him tomorrow. So if I do get a little bit of film, I shall put Tommy up just to say hello before the film. If not, if something happens and I don't have him, then it's just a little film of our walk round the block. So thank you so much for joining me. You take care of yourselves and I'll see you next week, all being well. Bye. So we've had friends today.
Hello.
And Tommy to visit, and Mum's been round and it's been absolutely lovely.
Knock me out.
Darling Lois has put him in his jumper again that I knitted.
Anybody think he didn't have anything else
Yeah,
to wear?
I know, I think, but he's filling it out now. So we can have a smile, Tommy. Hello, Tommy. Say
I
hello
think we've
to
worn
the
him out
visitors.
with smiles.
He's had lots of smiles and goo-gaws, haven't you? Yes, you
But
have.
he's just had a ball, so I think he's a bit full now.
Yes. So
Hard life being Tommy.
It is a hard life. So we said, come on. So we'll say cheerio and see you next week.
Say bye then.
Bye. Say bye-bye to the viewers.
Gonna watch us
Bye-bye.
grow up.
Yes. Good
Maybe,
boy.
he says.
Good boy.